Hello everyone, welcome to another video log of why I stopped playing. Today I will talk about why I stopped playing Life is Strange. And there's only one reason anyone should stop playing Life is Strange, it's because you've reached the end of the game. It's a really great game. I really loved it. The ratings on Steam that I have was overwhelmingly positive, so I was very skeptic that it could actually be that good, but it actually is that good. It's a very well made game, and I really enjoyed it a lot. There are lots of good points that I would like to highlight about it. The first of all is the concept of time manipulation itself was very smart. They use it to do the typical Telltale scheme of that you have a choice, but you can the player has the option of choosing what your character goes through, but they made it in a way that you can roll back and see what actually happens and force you to actually decide so that you feel more committed to what you actually choose, because you get to see what happens on both scenarios, not just one of them, without having to save and restore. There's a very faster way to check back the other results. It's a very interesting concept. They really pulled it off very smartly, and it really works very well. The other good point of Life is Strange is the graphics. They look very good, very modern. The animations are good, the environment is good. They have a lot of details on the models, a lot of attention to, you see birds on the background, you see the wind moving, special effects, lots of attention to detail. It really works very well. Also, the vocal artists are also very good. All the voice acting is great. You get used to the characters. You really feel like you know them, like they're part of you and the story. So they really help you get into the mood of the whole story. And the whole scene is very peaceful. It really lets you take your own pace. You can just sit around and just chat with other characters. You don't have to push the story forward. The story is actually quite linear, despite the options that you have to that allow you to make different choices. But the paths where you start and where you go and the different scenes, they all pretty much follow a sequence. But you don't feel rushed into them. You can always take your time, sit around, just watch the scenery and talk with the characters and get to know them a little bit better. And if you want to rush, you can rush, but you don't have to. And that's a very unique part of the game experience, that you can just feel the game, the environment of the game. The music also plays a big part in this. There are a lot of scenes where they just cut into music and just small actions, or that you can just sit in a bench or sit in a bed and your character is playing the guitar. And that works very well. Other points that I wanted to talk about, the colors and the camera positions. They're also very smartly done. They really bring forward a very cinematic view of the game. So the game feels a lot more cinematic than games usually are nowadays. So they really did a great job on that regard. I really liked that they were not afraid to cover mature topics. They talk about some very harsh things, from bullying to drugs, depression, a lot of different topics, and they really cover it in depth. They don't shy away from it or just cover it superficially. They really lay it all out, and it's I think they did a very good job on that, and I'm very happy that they are not afraid of doing that, and that a big publisher managed to accept that and let it go forward, because I think it's important that you have stories that don't portray the world different than it is. The world is quite fucked up, and it's normal that games should reflect a part of that. There are games that only want to entertain you, and there are games that should let you reflect on these issues and think more about them. So I think it's important, and I liked it a lot. I think the storyline really worked, and I was a bit I felt the issues around them. I understood the concepts and the conflicts, and they touched me emotionally. So in that aspect, it was very well done. In some ways, that movies, for example, can't really do that, even when they are talking about these kind of subjects. So it really brings forth the idea that games can be an extra dimension or an extra way, channel for you to talk about these issues in an interactive way and expose them. I also like the characters a lot and the storyline. The characters have a lot of different personalities. They see their own traits. The voice acting really helps setting the characters apart and their identities. And it also brings a lot of interest to the storyline itself, because the storyline is all about the characters and the evolution of the characters. So it works very well. And in a way, the choice system felt a lot more complex than the typical Telltale choose your destiny kind of games. On the Telltale games, a lot of times you choose something and it doesn't really matter that much, or it doesn't really influence the story in the future. And the main idea why that happens is because if the more bifurcations that you have, the more content you have to actually produce to finish the game. So that's why probably Telltale gives you the appearance that you have a choice, but in actual terms you only get to dictate one or two of the ways that things are shaped in the whole story. Or most of the Telltale games that I played had that behavior, which was a bit, well, not frustrating, but it gave some reluctance to accept that it's really a choose your own destiny kind of story, when whatever you choose doesn't really affect much the next scene. But on this game, on Life is Strange, it does affect quite a lot. There are things, I don't want to give any spoilers of the actual game, but there are things like a character can actually die, and you have whole other episodes going forward where they have to deal with that and have totally parallel existences, and all the dialogues have to fit that. So on one of them, the character actually died, and they all have to respond that way, and on another storyline, the character may not have died, and they have to also respond that way. So it shows that they had a lot of attention to detail, a lot of quality assurance, most probably, to make sure that everything is coherent. So well done, well played. And yeah, the only reason why I stopped playing Life is Strange is because I reached the final episode. And I was very sorry to have finished it, because it was such a great game. I really wished it would have been longer. But yeah, the timeline of the actual game was pretty much over. There was not much room for them to do any extra episodes. So I'm looking forward to other games from the same studio. And well, this is my video log. And now that I'm done, I will take 20 seconds talking random crap so you can either check the playlists or watch some other video. They supposedly say that you should do this on all YouTube videos. I think it's a bit stupid, but well, if you want to check out the other videos, you can do so by clicking here or clicking there. And don't forget to click the like button and that kind of stuff. And subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. It's important to subscribe on YouTube. Okay, bye-bye everyone. Take care.